Bet you didn't know the noble Drew Ali made a historical message to America. Let's find out about it, shall we? What did this guy, noble Drew Ali, have to say about his movement? It's a little nippy. That's why I think you know it. All right. I'm going to put my jacket on because it's a little nippy. Waiting for the heater to heat up. All right. Thank you all for coming. So today, in this lesson, we're going to listen to a message, public service announcement to all of America by this guy named Drew Ali, who some believe that he was the avatar of the age sent to America, and who others believe was just some circus act. But nonetheless, let's find out what Noble Drew Ali's message, historical message to America, is all about, shall we? And again, this is in the Moorish. This is in the Moorish Guide newspaper. You'll see it as Article 19. Let's see. In connection with the aims, objects, rules, and regulations of the Moorish Science Temple of America, I deem it proper to submit to you a brief statement of our organization covering its inception, rise, and progress, and of the Mohammedan religion, which I hope will be satisfactory to you and be the means of causing you at all times to adhere to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice in your relations with mankind in general. I further most anxiously hope that this brief statement will help you to more clearly see the duty and wisdom of at all times upholding those fundamental principles, which are desired for our civilization, of our posterity, such as obedience to law, respect and loyalty to government, tolerance, and unity. We organized as the Moorish Temple of Science in the year of 1925 and were legally incorporated as a civic organization under the laws of the state of Illinois, November 29th, 1926. Moorish Temple of Science, State of Illinois. Civic organization. The name Moorish Temple of Science changed to the Moorish Science Temple. Excuse me, it keeps cutting me off. The name Moorish Holy Temple of Science was changed to the name Moorish Science Temple of America, May 1928, in accordance with the legal requirements of the Secretary of the State, Illinois. The object of our organization is to help in the great program of uplifting fallen humanity and teach those things necessary to make out. The object of our organization is to help in the great missionary program of uplifting fallen humanity and teach those things necessary to make our members better citizens. Look at the mission statement. To uplift fallen humanity, all right, and to teach those things necessary to make men and women better citizens. Okay. A national organization with a Rotarian complexion as it relates to branch temples became obvious with the increasing number of inquiries from men and women in different sections of the country concerning the purpose of the organization. There are branch temples in 15 different states at this time. All right. Since the work of the Moorish Science Temple of America was largely religious, the organization has been legally changed to a religious corporation, and an affidavit to this effect has been properly filed in the Cook County Recorder's Office in Illinois. I don't know why the brother never put that in here, but just give me a moment. Oh, there, he did put it in there. Okay. This is the religious affidavit of organization that he filed in the Cook County. And he says that it was largely religious. And so I want to show you what religion is about dealing with this information. chapter 35. So chapter 35 speaks about religion. And I'm going to show you the very last verse of the religious chapter tells you what? That religion is what? The true economy of human life. Okay, getting back to the message. Since the work of the Moorish Science Temple of America was largely religious, the organization has been legally changed to a religious corporation, and an affidavit to this effect has been properly filed in the Cook County Recorder's Office in Illinois. Inspired by the lofty teachings of the Quran, we have it as the revealed word of God Allah. And so when he's talking about the Quran, particularly that has been revealed to us, he is not talking about this book. He is not talking about this book. This is not the Quran. This is not the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Holy Quran in this book. He says, we shall foster in this book. He says, we shall foster the principles of its teachings. Keeps cutting me off. This is our religious privilege as American citizens. As American citizens. Under the laws of one of the greatest documents of all time, the American Constitution. The Mohammedan religion is the least appreciated and probably the most misunderstood of the world's great religions. This is especially true here in the Western world. Try to understand what Mohammedanism, so Islamism, Mohammedanism, they're the same, okay? Try to understand what Mohammedanism stands for and some of the things it has contributed to the world. Muhammad was the founder of the Muhammadan religion. It originated 13 centuries ago on the Arabian Peninsula, where the streams of commerce and culture met and mingled in the Middle Ages, where the markets of exchange were stationed for treasures of India and the products of the Mediterranean coasts. There, this religion, mind you, he's talking about commerce and religion. He's talking about economy. He says, there, this religion was established in the unprecedented short period of 20 years. And unlike many other religions, without the aid of any royal patronage or support. Buddhism had its Asoka, Judaism, it's Joshua. Christianity, it's Constantine. But Muhammadanism had no person of royal rank and power to assist in its establishment and spread. Today, this religion is acknowledged by nearly 250 million souls and extends over an area equal to 1/3 of the globe. From Arabia, it spread eastward over Persia, Turkestan, Afghanistan, westward across Syria, Asia Minor, Turkey, southward to Africa, covering more than half of that continent. It found its way to India and beyond to the islands of Sumatra, Java, and Borneo. To the early representatives of this faith, the world's debt is incalculably great. For it was they who transmitted the treasures of Greek literature from the Middle Ages to the Renaissance. They who originated the graceful forms of which the Taj Mahal and the Alhambra are the most famous examples. It was they who contributed to the sciences of algebra and chemistry, astronomy, and medicine. It is they who dotted the Saracen Empire with universities and who built at Baghdad and Cairo the most renowned universities of the world. During those centuries of ecclesiastical despotism, when the Christian church suppressed all intellectual activities except those that were theological, causing the talent that reproduces to supplant the genius that creates, Muhammadans did all in their power to encourage and stimulate research in every branch of human inquiry. The Moors, or Mohammedans, added to the beauty and grandeur of Spain. For centuries, added to the beauty and grandeur of Spain. For centuries, art, science, literature, and chivalry flourished among them, while the rest of Europe was still sunk in the gloom of the Dark Ages. While the rest of Europe was still sunk in the gloom of the Dark Ages. The Moors were the most ingenious and industrious of the subjects of Spain. Their expulsion from Spain in 1610 was one of the chief causes of decadence of that country, for both agriculture and industry fell into decay after their departure. Mohammedanism makes no distinction between high and low, rich and poor. It is like the sky. It has room for all. Let me say that again. Islamism makes no distinction between high and low, rich and poor. It is like the sky. It has room for all. The Quran should be of interest to all readers. It is the Bible of the Muhammad. It is the Bible of the Muhammadan. 200 million people. It is a work of importance, whether considered from a religious, philosophical, or literary viewpoint. In the promotion of plans for the betterment of mankind, there has ever been some kind of opposition. And strange as it may seem, such opposition has come from sources where there were no ideas or the lack of courage to force attention to ideas. Whether in the church, the state, or the social community, any attempt to do anything out of the usual way seldom fails to receive criticism. Not because the course cannot be pursued legally or that it is unreasonable, but because it has been considered in terms as something new. The Moorish Science Temple of America has received some opposition and criticism. In the main, the opposition has come from certain Christian ministers. They have expressed themselves as being opposed to our propagation of the Mohammedan religion. He is speaking about the AEA, the ancient Egyptian Arabic orders of the nobles of the mystic shrine, and all of the Freemasonic Christians who are of so-called Negro descent. That's who he's talking about the opposition comes from. He says they have expressed themselves as being opposed to our propagation of the Mohammedan religion, possibly because the promotion of the Mohammedan faith among our people in the United States is considered by them in terms as something new. Whatever the reasons may be for their opposition, however, the legal right to oppose citizens, individuals, and organizations alike for their religious belief does not exist in the United States. The door of religious freedom made by the American Constitution swings open to all, and people may enter through it and worship as they desire. So for all of those saying that the Moorish American version of Islam is not real, eat a dick. Okay. Without religious freedom, no search for truth would be possible. Without religious freedom, no discovery of truth would be useful. Without religious freedom, religious progress would be checked. And without religious freedom, religious progress would be checked. And we would no longer march forward toward the nobler life which the future holds for the races of men. Without religious freedom, there would be no inspiration to lift our heads and gaze with fearlessness. Without religious freedom, there would be no inspiration to lift our heads and gaze with fearlessness into the vast beyond. It keeps chopping me up, major. Without religious freedom, there would be no inspiration to lift our heads and gaze with fearlessness into the vast beyond, seeking a hope eternal. It is a sad weakness in us. It is a sad weakness in us, after all, to oppose our fellow. It is a sad weakness in us. It is a sad weakness in us, after all, to oppose our fellow men for their religious beliefs. And if there are angels who record, the sorrows of men, as well as their sins, they certainly know how many and how deep are the useless sorrows that spring forth from such opposition. Possibly, love and time will cancel our possibly love and time will cancel our ancient hatreds in this regard and prove that in mankind tolerance is better than unwarranted. Connect with our religious aims and beliefs. We must promote economic security. Let me write that down. Security. Let me write that down. I need y'all to really understand this statement here. In connection with our religious aims and beliefs, we must promote economic security. So our economic security is coming through the administration of trust in estates from a religious point of view. Your religion sets your commercial status. The preaching of economic security among us is by no means as widespread and intensive as the circumstances demand. No other one thing is more needed. Where we at? No other one thing is more needed among us at this time than greater economic power. Listen to this. This is what the Moorish Temple of America is supposed to be. All right. Better position for our men and women. More business employment for our boys and girls. And bigger incomes will follow our economic security. We shall be secure in nothing until we have economic power. A beggar nation cannot develop the highest in them, nor can they attain to a genuine enjoyment of the spiritualities of life. Our men, women, and children should be taught to believe in the capacity of our group to succeed in business, in spite of the trials and failures of some of them. Trials and failures in business are by no means confined to any one particular group of people. Some business ventures of all people fail. We have many men and women among our people who are qualified, both by training and experience, who are shining lights in the business world of all the people. It is a sad weakness in us as a people that we have withheld the very encouragement, support, and patronage that would have made some of our worthy business ventures a grand success. And worst of all, have joined where we at? And worst of all, have joined in the condemnations of them when they fail. Sounds like the Moorish Americans are still doing that. Except in cases of actual dishonesty, discourtesy, lack of cases of actual dishonesty, discourtesy, lack of service, and actual unreliability, our business enterprises in every field of endeavor should have loads of confidence and patronage whenever and wherever they can be given. Read carefully the doctrines of the Moorish Science Temple of America. These are the doctrines of the Moorish Science Temple of America. He says it contains our hopes, aims, rules, and articles of religion. And every member, not just some of them, every member should have a copy. In conclusion, I urge you to remember there is work enough for all to do in helping to build a better world. The problems of life are largely social and economic. Where are we at? In a profound sense, they are moral and spiritual. Have lofty conceptions of your duties to your country. Let me say that again, just in case. Have lofty conceptions of your duties to your country and fellow men in general, and especially those with whom you deal. This includes such honesty and righteousness as will cause you to put yourself in the other fellow's place. That's what he just told us to look to. He says again, have lofty conceptions of your duties to your country and fellow man in general, and especially those with whom you deal. This includes such honesty and righteousness as will cause you to put yourself in the other fellow's place. As will cause you to put yourself in the other fellow's place. When man honors man, he honors the law. Do not unto men which you will not have men do unto you. This is called consideration. This is called equity. One's due measure. Look for the best in others and give them the best that is in you. Have a deeper appreciation for womanhood, because a lot of these grand sheiks in the temples are pimping. That was the issue with Elijah Muhammad. He was pimping. He was laying the pipe to people, to the younger people, right? And then he even excommunicated some of them, but that's neither here nor there. For you members of the Moorish Science Temple of America who are the trustees, I know you old men. Have a greater appreciation for the woman and stop pimping. Stop pimping. Brighten the hopes of our youth in order that their courage be increased to dare and do wondrous things. Adhere at all times to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I am your affectionate leader. I shall come to labor day and night, both in public and private. As for you knucklehead Moors out there talk about we ain't supposed to be out here in the public doing nothing, Jurali says otherwise. He says, brighten the hopes of our youth in order that their courage be increased and to dare and do wondrous things. Always adhere at all times to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I am your affectionate leader. So he just basically said that he's the principal, right? I shall come to labor day. I shall continue to labor day and night, both in public and private, for your good, thereby contributing to the welfare of our country and its people as a whole. So this is not just for the Moorish Americans. Okay, and now I want to read one more reading. And I'm so glad that I seen that. So we just read the aims, objects, and whatnot of the civic and of the religious organization, right? And so now we're going to read the article called The Moorish Science Temple of America, because you're going to hear the same terminology in this. The Moorish Science Temple of America was founded by the Prophet Noble Jurali. Aside from the fact that it is a legally chartered, legally organized religious corporation, it is building on human needs. To this desirable end in time, legitimate means will be found to dispense charity and provide for the mutual assistance of its members in times of distress, to aid in the improvement of health, and to encourage the ownership of better homes, to find employment for our members, to teach those fundamental principles which are desired for our civilization, such as obedience to law, respect and loyalty to government, tolerance and unity. It is most earnestly hoped that the Moorish Science Temple of America will not in any way be confused with any Back to Africa movement. Such is not important insofar as American citizens of our group colonizing Africa are concerned. We of the Moorish Science Temple of America, like countless other American citizens, know that we must live together here in America in harmony, friendship, and goodwill, whatever our race and creed may be. It is only from a purely religious standpoint, it seems at this time, that we differ from a large number of our fellow Americans. It seems at this time that we differ from a large number of our fellow Americans. We believe in and foster the Muslim religion. We feel that the Christian religion is all right for those who prefer it. In America, Constitution. We are interested in freeing ourselves and our children from the greatest plight, economic slavery. We believe this can be best done by encouraging, patronizing, and establishing our own business enterprises and cultivating our own acres of land. We welcome into our folds men and women of our group of all sections, all trades, occupations, and professions of sound mind and good character. Good character is integrity, is equity. We are friends and servants of humanity. We are dedicated to the purpose of elevating the moral, social, and economic status of our people. We have set about to do this through a wide and comprehensive program embodying the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Love is the first principle. Consideration. Oh yeah, one last reading just so that I can show the discernment. When I say that Jur Ali was telling us about the Holy Quran, particularly of Muhammad, he's talking about the Circle Seven, even though he's making, he's relaying to the Muhammad of Arabia, he's also related to the Muhammad of the Turks. And so I just wish for you all to take this into mind, right? Because again, there are Moorish Americans, and I'm not knocking the Quran of Makkah, of Saudi Arabia. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that that's not for us. According to the Moors, that's not our doctrine. Our doctrine, Jur Ali has given us, is plain, brightly bowed out. It's I'm going to show you. Okay. From the Moorish Guide newspaper, right? Article 25, down here. Masterpiece of religious literature, secrets of other creeds revealed. So now he's going to tell you about the version of the Quran that he's presenting. He says the Prophet, Noble Jur Ali, has spent many hours preparing the latest edition of the Quran, which will be a masterpiece of religious literature. To Americanize the Oriental ideal of Islam involves many changes that are more or less negative to the main purpose of the Islamic religion. Such changes are carefully considered with the idea to avoid changing the complexion of the original text. The philosophy of the ancient prophets is the main initiative in this compilation of the Quran. No thoughts of propaganda enter this work, as has been the case of many former religious works, such as the Bible and other books of creed. The sole purpose of the prophet in giving such a message to the world is to save fallen humanity. When a compiler attempts to inject propaganda into a work of this kind, there arises a need to cover the true text in order to prevent a clash with the truth and ideas involved in such propaganda. Formal works of this kind have either hindered or helped the nations proportionately to the adherence to the truth as to the original purpose of keeping the ignorant in such a state. It is hard to resist the temptation to use this medium for gain. Hence, many of the former treatises on works of this kind have been the means to foster ideas of the unscrupulous, wherein they desire to use religious influence for gain. The many secrets known to the prophet that could be used for the salvation of the nation were either left out or colored to an extent that their meanings have been made void. Such is not the case with this edition of the Quran. All the secrets of the ages known to man are put into this work. The secrets known only to the Magi are here revealed. The reading of the stars, the interpretation of marriage relations, the understanding of the span of life and other such as has been kept from the Occidental world are in this book boldly brought out. The Quran, Americanized as it will be, can be bought in a few weeks. It will be sent to all governors of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We're not Arabs. To the Moorish Americans out there imitating the Arabs, I need you to know that first and foremost, Moroccans are not Arabs. Okay. Though they speak Arabic, they are not Arabs. And secondly, we have our own doctrine of Islam. Alright? So all of this running around, Assalamu alaikum. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's a universal greeting. But again, if you truly believe in Jur Ali as our authoritative figure, prophet, right, then you got to take it from, you got to do it the way he showed it to you. We say Islam. We say peace. We say equity is in the heart. Right? And nothing wrong with saying Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. كيف حالك أخي؟ أنا بخير وأنت؟ أنا بخير. أنا بالطيب. الحمد لله. سبحان الله. لا إله إلا الله. Allahu Akbar. I mean, if you want to say all of that, that's fine. But a simple Islam will suffice. Islam, Islam, Islam. Right? I'm going to make another notation and then I'm going to close out. I'm just going to say it. I didn't mean the cap. I don't know what that means, brother, but no problem. Jur Ali told us his Moors. Let me put it that way. Jur Ali told his Moors. The first Moors ever calling themselves Moorish Americans. Not like all these other people who are now claiming to be Moorish Americans. But when Jur Ali called his people Moorish Americans, he told them, don't get rid of your names. He told them, don't change your name, don't get rid of your name, don't do any of that. He told you to annex or attach your title to that last name. So if you're out here running around and you're using the name that's not on your birth certificate, don't expect to be able to properly claim that debit as a security to exchange it into the credit. Don't expect yourself to have the creditor title if you didn't do it properly. If you're an Al Bay or an Al Day or a whatever, if you're a Amin Hotep Ra El Bay Ali Day, whatever, all of that, bro, that's not a part of this movie. If you've changed anything on the social or the birth certificate, someone has misinformed you. Someone has misguided you because Jur Ali tells you not to do such things. Okay? In closing, I appreciate you all for coming. I appreciate you all for coming. I hope that this lesson can be taken and shared to everybody. I hope that anybody and everybody who desires to be a Muslim, anybody and everybody who desires to be a Muslim, anyone who desires to be a Muslim can come to Islam. Okay? Let me show you the difference, because we're not knocking. We feel like Christianity is good for any. We feel like Christianity is good for all of those who profess to be a part of that religion. There's nothing wrong with Christianity. Bases everything on Christianity deals with being born in sin. Christianity teaches you that you're born a debtor. Jesus was not a debtor. So if you're trying to be Christ-like, you'd be the creditor. But nonetheless, Constantine, etc., teaches you about principal debtorship. Principal debtorship Christianity teaches you about the 14th Amendment. Any 14th Amendment citizen is born in debt. Why? Because this is a debt. This is a debt instrument. And this is a person. And it is a stateless person. It is not with the state. Mind you, heaven is within. So the state is heaven. And you're supposed to be in heaven with God. Okay, now if you follow Christianity, by all means, you have the right to do so. In Islam, everyone is born pure and clean, free of debt, free of sin, right? And it is in Article 4, Section 4, Republican, constitutional, or in-law citizenship, state citizenship. You're one with the state. So if Allah is the state of mind, then man must also share the same status. And if this is the debtor, if God means governor, operator, and destroyer, God, governor, operator, destroyer, then this has to be the governing, operating, destroying the darkness, by bringing out the light. Darkness is black citizenship. So whiteness is light is white citizenship. Let me show you, and then we're going to close out. Mind you, Muslims, doesn't matter what skin tone you are. If you're Muslim, you're white. Because white means purity. Purity means God. God means ruler of the land. That's a Republican form, free of debt. Just want to show you this. Ethnicity and race. Ethnicity and race, right? White. White. A person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. These are all Muslims. To be white in America, you have to follow Islam. Or at least the principles of equity. It wouldn't be called Islam. It would be called Christianity to Christians as long as they follow the principle of equity, that all are equal. So again, in Islam, knowing that religion is commerce, in Islam, you're born a creditor. You're born Muslim. You're born complete, whole. You can't be made whole. You were born whole. Muslims are not made. Masons could be made. Christians are made. But Muslims, creditors, they're born.